Hi there, welcome back to Kelly Martin Speaks. I'm here just to talk a little bit about making the best of where you are. Because many a time we can be in our lives and look to what we have and the experiences we are having and feel lackful and yearning and depressed. It's quite easy to feel depressed. But if we are able to value and make the best of where we are, instead of struggling what we haven't got, life becomes so much more sweeter. It really does. At the moment, my life's quite basic, it's quite simple. And I find it really amazing that, and really valuable, that sometimes you can feel like you haven't got enough money in your life to get what you need, what you think you need. More so what you want rather than what you need. And it's quite easy to get locked into comparing ourselves with others and feeling very unhappy with our circumstances. But I've discovered, even in this simplistic life of mine, with what resources I have, less has actually made me value life more. And yes, my life will change as life unfolds, and more may unfold. But I'm actually discovering the simplicity of life from having less has made it so much more rewarding. I know people who go to the supermarket to buy their food for the week, and they spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on a weekly shop. I've seen it. Their trolleys filled to overflowing. A family of 4, or even just, a family of 2. And then we have a little basket. And we eat probably less than most people. But when we eat like kings and queens. I devour my food with such pleasure and joy that I imagine most people don't. When you have lots and you haven't experienced having less, you can become quite complacent and not notice where waste is appearing in your life. Before we became more simple in life, me and my friend that I share my home with, we were quite simple then. We didn't waste very much. We have a food recycling bin that we put our food waste in there. But even then we didn't waste much. But now we waste pretty much nothing. And when you feel like you've got nothing, you haven't. Just because it may seem you have less money, or less food, or less friends, or less relationships, what you've got is what you need. Otherwise you wouldn't have it. And when we can begin to want what we have, instead of wanting what we haven't, life just becomes much more richer. If you've got your health, even if you haven't, there's things in your life that you can value or find some, goodness in, some appreciation for. I walk in nature, which is not very far from where I live. I live in a city. It's not hills and mountains that you can get in some countryside areas. It's very near the urban area, but I value being able to walk and move my energy. Just walk and walk. After 30 minutes you feel so much better. And I play with paints, baking. cooking. I think Julia Cameron said that in one of her books, that if you've got a problem or a challenge, bake biscuits or bake a cake. When you're making something or creating something, you can't create all of the chaos and the head mess that goes on with all the thoughts that we have. I've come to learn over 8 months of being most of the time on my own and living the simplistic life, that from this base I feel satisfied, and I know that as things unfold and when things change, I'll be coming from a more appreciative place. Little things. They may seem like nothing. And I advise, if you want to make the best of where you are in life, to stop visualizing the future, daydreaming, future tripping. I know a lot of gurus and teachers recommend this, and yeah, it can be valuable. It's as valuable as it feels good. If it doesn't feel good, if you're imagining a life that is different from where you are, and you begin to feel yearning or desperation or sorrow that it's not here yet, stop. Give it up. Don't do it anymore. Instead, find the value where you are. You may struggle and resist with this in the beginning. I did. I found having a roof over my head and food in my belly was not enough in my head. I thought, what is there to be valuable about that? It's not very interesting, is it? It's not as interesting and as exciting as the future dream I have in my head. But over time, you just have to surrender to the moment, surrender to where you are. And when you surrender, you haven't got the stress and the struggle. Depression becomes non-existent or less. Fear becomes easier to manage. So I really recommend in making the best with what you've got. Even if you have setbacks, just say to yourself, okay, how can I make the best out of this? There's got to be something there. You wouldn't be experiencing it otherwise. Anyway, thank you very much for listening, and I hope you check back soon. Thanks. Bye.